So we have a live. So hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Open Source Cafe today. We will be talking about how a beginner can start contributing to the Food Fact organization. So before we get started, I want to give you a huge shout out to Sumana Basu, here our speaker, and one more speaker, Aman Raj. So, Sumana and Aman both are got accepted in the Google Summer of Code this year with the Food Fact organization. Yes. Okay. So thanks a lot for both of you for joining our podcast. And the structure of the podcast will be the Sumana and the Aman will tell us about basically starting with their introduction and then with starting with the introduction of the organization. So and their experience with how they get selected in the GSOC, and they share their experience about their journey up to this point. Okay. So first of all, Sumana, would like to tell about our viewers a little bit more about you and your organization, what you're going to do. So with a
Sure.
simple introduction.
So I'm Sumana Basu, and I'm a rising senior pursuing BTech in Computer Science and Engineering from NIT Rourkela. And I have been an MLH fellow, and now I'm working as a technical program associate at MLH. Along with that, I'm an SD intern at SAP, and I will start working as a GSOC mentee under Open Food Facts. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So should I go next? So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm Aman,
that's a lot of
20.
everyone going to inspire by you. And so, what about Aman? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. You are.
So I was just waiting for you to like let me speak. So I'm Aman. Currently I'm in my third year of my college. So I'm pursuing engineering, like BTech
So
in
yeah,
computer science from Bakhtiyarpur College of Engineering.
yes.
It's in Patna. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So my past experiences include like I got to be a part of MLS prep in October, and before that, like I had done an internship, industry-led internship, and I've been a part-time mentor at Girls Gift Education Outreach Program, and recently I got into GSOC at Open Food Facts, and that's pretty much about it.
Okay, so what about your organization? What they do? What they are going to do? So what about the organization?
Okay.
What type of
So
organization is
open
this? What they do?
Yeah. So Open Food Facts is a free online and
Food facts about
crowdsourced
your organization got
database.
accepted.
Rishabh, I think you're lagging a bit. I'll just start again. So Open Food Facts is a
Okay,
free online and crowdsourced database of food products from all around the world. So like the stakeholders of Open Food Facts like are a lot. It consists of food consumers, food producers, government organizations, and scientists and researchers. So everyone has different purposes to use of that is Open Food Facts, but the most important thing is data. So all the data that is collected through crowdsourcing and through different food producers is can be used for research and like deciding best health policies and even to make like better informed food choices by everyone in our day-to-day life. Yeah. Aman, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, I guess that was pretty
okay,
much what you said. Like most of the things you already covered. So, being just like this is like one of the most like heavily contributed, crowdsourced like a project. So people around the world they contribute about the data on the database, like about the food products, about its nutritional value. So basically, the next time you want to know something about a product, you could just search it with a name or like a barcode. So it will, Sumana just told you about the back end, like the whole in general. So I'm going to give you a little bit of hint about my particular project that I was contributing to. So I contributed to the like the Dart packages and the Flutter app. So if you're like thinking of implementing these open food facts directly into your app, the first thing you could do is like call a normal API. But over that, the team of Open Food Facts they have like made some really good packages over many different languages, including Python and Dart. Like these two I have used. So I'm gonna say about it, and they're pretty much useful. So about the app, we have like an Android app and iOS native app, and recently we're developing a like hybrid app both for iOS and Android with Flutter. So what basically you could do is you could just scan a barcode of a food product and it will just label out every nutritional fact that it has. And if it's not there, you could just create your own entry. This is pretty much about our project and organization.
Okay,
Uh,
so that's the lot of yeah, that's a lot. So after both of your interview and yes, you are saying something, Aman.
no, I guess you were just
Are you
lagging a
saying
bit, so
something,
I was a
Aman?
bit confused.
Okay, sorry for that. Okay, after the both of your interviews, those who don't know me, I'm Rishabh and I'm collab. So I'm new to the open source. Okay, so I'm firstly taking this session. I'm the new to the open source. So I'm basically a front-end developer at DeCodeCafe. So this is a very much a community. So I'm not like a open source, but I'm contributing a community. So I would highly like to give a little bit of disclaimer that actions are really more valuable than words, especially when can like spend all hours and hours giving you motivation stuff, but unless you get involved. So it's not talking about to what is this video is all about. That this episode is about sharing the best practices that Sumana and the Aman used, sharing their best experience in open source, particularly their corresponding organizations. So I would like to start this podcast with the basic question that is a open source, every open source contributor have. So how did you find the food fact organization and what really excites about choosing the organization? How the food fact you basically I'm asking that how you both choose the food fact is the right for you. First of all,
All right.
Sumana.
So, for me, I was
Hello.
also very new to open source, and I just went through all the organizations that were listed in the Google Summer of Code website. And it was like very randomly open food facts. I got attracted to it because the first thing was food. So I was like, this is something interesting because I'm a big foodie. So jokes apart, when I saw about their organization, I read about it and went through their community Slack channel. So there were two things that were really that really attracted me. The first thing was that they were actually doing something which was changing a lot of people's lives. This is like very useful and like a non-profit thing they're doing just to make help other people make better food choices. So this was one thing that I felt like when I'll be contributing to them, I'll actually create a huge impact to people's lives. And the second thing was that when I entered the Slack community and I talked to people, all the people there were very supportive and they like continuously helped me out to move further and like contribute, make my first contribution even. So I think the community part was also very important for me. Yeah, over to you, Aman.
So my experience had been done like similar to yours. So I was just trying to figure out some organizations that were selected in GSOC. So I initially had no idea that I would be selected for this year since I started really late. So I just wanted to challenge myself to at least contribute to open source since it was like my pre-final year. So I sort of stumbled upon like open food facts, and there I saw a issue on the like Dart packages which I could solve. So I like commented on that particular issue that I can like try to solve it. So the mentors said that like they are already working in it on it. Like they will like ping me next time they find issue, like a beginner one for me. So the real interesting thing was they remembered my name and like 2 days after they like created an issue and a simple one and they asked me to fix it. So this was like my first interaction with the mentors and the organizations, and it felt really nice. They even guided me since it was my first like contribution to that particular repository. So they guided me. This is the page. This is the particular page, the file where you will be editing the stuff. So I did that, and it got accepted. So like most of the time you got to chat on Slack, and but for me, most of my like chat with mentors was around the pull request and like issues on GitHub. So there I got to know about the community a lot. So some of times I could even like I sometimes even did reviews for the PRs and like sometimes gave my opinions. And the mentors were just generous enough. they were like including us in our conversations, like what's your thought about this particular action, will it be good or not. So for me, like how welcoming the mentors were, this led to me like do my contributions, and this is how I like end up here. Over to you, Rishabh.
Yeah, that's the basic thing. Yeah. So next questions for the both of you. So would you like to tell me about how do you make a connection with the mentors and how to ask a good question in public? And what are the best practices to communicate with the mentors and the community?
Okay. So yeah, I understand like talking with the mentor, going to the mentor and approaching is actually sometimes very difficult for me also. I was really scared to do that. And like whenever I was sending even like a single message with like I am Sumana Basu, I was reading it 10 times to see if, I haven't made a mistake or something. So that is pretty normal. But the best thing you can do is just go on the Slack channel and or whatever IRC they have, it can be Discord or anything. Just go there and just write that I am interested in contributing and I know this and this. So what do I do, where do I start? And usually like in our Slack also, I've seen like every time a person comes like this, we like depending on their tech stack, we always tell them, okay, you can go and contribute here, you can look for issues here and how to get started, and the mentors will help you out further. You just have to send one text that this is who I am, and just please help me out, and rest will be handled by the mentors. Yeah.
So I guess Sumana did
Now it's
answer
time
the
for.
question. Like, see, this is the most of the times this is how we chat. So for me, like I never introduced myself in Slack until I like contributed around at least 3 to 4 years. I was just scared that I might be judged, so I didn't like communicate in Slack that early. But for most of the students like who come, they just ask on Slack, I'm new here, I wanna like I know this bit of tech stack. So most of the times, if it's mentors or even the contributors, any of them, it's so like nice to like anyone can just guide them. So, okay, so this is the link where you can go and like find some resource, or this is like the channel you should join in so you could contribute. So yeah, this is pretty much like you have to get on Slack and leave a public message in the general channel, and probably you'll be guided where to go next. Over to you, Rishabh.
Yeah, so it's fine. Yeah, me too. I also try to contribute in the open source. I also drag around the Slack channels and finding the mentors for me. So I didn't get this time. I didn't get that. So next question is that how do we create a basically for the general organization? How do we going to create a proposal? What are the need in the proposal? What are the important things we have to do in the proposal? So we got selected in the any general organizations. What we have the important things we have to add in the
So
proposals.
usually, GSOC itself gives a proposal, like a sample proposal of what all you should include, and like the important things that are necessary to put in the proposal. So that resource is always there. But if I tell you in general the most basic things, it is first of all what you will do, like what all features you'll add or what bugs you will add, and then a timeline which shows like when you will do what. Like we have two different coding seasons, so at in which month you will put which feature and how will you exactly complete all the features. And the third, which I think personally is the very important thing, is that how will you complete those features, like how will you complete what all you have said you will complete. So you can add a lot of code snippets or flow charts or anything to show that you actually know what you're saying. Because honestly, like in the proposal you can even write that I'll take you to Mars, right? But that doesn't mean you can actually take a person to Mars. So for that you have to be very reasonable about what you're proposing, which is why this section is important, that how you will do it, so that the mentors know that whatever you're saying and proposing is realistic and it's not just like anywhere. Yeah. So these are the three important things I feel.
So what about you, Aman?
So I
What
guess
do you
my
think? What
answer
is
is not going to
important
be
in the
much different. So basically, you have to first of the thing, like if you're contributing it to a particular project and you see that there is a like idea listing there, so 90% of the time it's gonna click you like, okay, I understand the project and this is what needs to be implemented. So that gives you an extra boost to like write in proposal. You could easily explain like how I'm gonna do it. For me, like I was contributing a lot to that project. It was just fun for me to get my PR merged. I just would like feel a little bit of good in me. So I was just contributing a lot, and like in this process, I learned a lot about the project. And since the proposal that I sent for was for the project I was working on, so I had a rough idea like how it's gonna be working. So as Sumana said, like you have to propose like in general how the about the timeline, how you're gonna do, in what particular week you're gonna do. If you are like sure about certain things that we I can do this particular feature completely, you can mention that. For me, like I was confused about certain parts, so I just clearly had mentioned in my proposal like I might need some mentors help and advisory here, because I'm not that comfortable in that particular like thing. So this is the thing, like if you are saying something out of the box that I will be able to do and you won't be, so this will lead to be a bad experience. So in advance, you just tell what you're exactly capable of and write down what needs to be written. So it doesn't need to be just a perfect one that I'm going to do this testing and like I'm going to do this feature all by myself. If you feel like there are certain points where you need mentor assistance, you could just mention those points like at this particular week 3 I would like to discuss the flow with the mentors, how the what the best approach would be. So this is it. And about the format, like we got a format from our community. So how we should feel, like there were spaces for most of the things, like our general information, IRC, like this what Slack channel IDs, our GitHub URLs and everything, and about our experiences and our timeline. And in general, so we didn't have to like do something really innovative. I just stuck with the flow and the format they provided. And yeah, this is what pretty much it is.
So okay, it's okay. So I know I read many of the proposals who got accepted in the GSOC, and it's pretty much about. So I want to know also that is we have to add our personal project as well. So we can show them what we are going to do, what we are working on, something like that in the proposals. Is we are really working. We have to make a trust between the organization and us, is we have to add something as well, like on the proposals, like we add the timelines, how we're going to work with them, so how we are going to contribute with their, how the timelines with, so our projects also we have to add, any personal projects we have to add in the proposals. Yes, Sumana.
You can add, like, it is always a plus showing that you have a lot of experience in that area. But it is not like it's a must. But, like, if you have, it is a plus point if you have more open source contributions out there. So you can link those as well so that they know that, okay, you actually know how to code and how to work in open source. So that is a plus point. And usually, like as Aman said, organizations give you mostly a sample template or something, so you can just follow that because that is what they need. So you'll be giving them exactly what they need. Yeah.
So saying about like personal projects you should include. So most of the times I did internships and like I did a little bit of open source contributions. So I didn't have made like any good project you could say possibly to like show in a resume. I have like some pretty good ones, but like a mix of some technologies that I don't think like that are of that much level to show on a cheese of thing. So you could just stay with your. The most important thing that matters is if you're contributing to that particular project and you have submerged PRs and like even some issues and documentation fixes, they just see that yeah, you are capable of doing it. They have seen your code when you have created a PR, and they know how you try to like solve a problem. I guess this is the most important thing. So the next time you're trying to apply for GSOC, so try to like get your PR merged into that particular project rather than like going to make an entire project just for like your personal project. That will be much helpful.
Okay, so like what I'm doing is I just pick the two or three organization. What I'm when I try to make a GSOC for the proposal for the GSOC, what I did is I make the two or three. I select the two or three organizations which I'm going to apply. I just see the proposals. I'm going to basically what I'm going to see the projects they are working on. So my question is, there are for the one project there are many proposals. proposals. So there are many proposals for the only for the one project. So many of the writings. So how did they select? How their criteria to select the proposal for a particular? Because they are going to be for a particular project. They are going to be same solutions. Might be same solution for a particular project. So how they are going to select how they what are the criteria to select the proposals?
Okay, so first of all, if you're contributing to open source just because for GSOC, I guess that's totally wrong. Even for me, I like already told you, I was just contributing so that in the next year I might get selected. I had no hope for this year, so you should just start contributing. And about the hoarding and the race, I guess if you are having quality PRs, like a good interaction between the with your mentors, not possibly like on Slack or something, but if you're just having on PRs on like on discussion forums, so that creates a good impression. And yeah, this is pretty much it. You like do it's not a race, something like you have to go and I'll have to get selected. If you get selected, that's totally fine. And even if you don't get selected, like you had already contributed to a project that was going to be participating in GSOC, and that's itself is like a great thing. So I had made up my mind. So even in the resume that I was making just before GSOC, I had like mentioned like I'm heavily contributing to open food facts and given a link to some of my PRs. So this is like you should be doing it just to get the experience on open source. And about your getting your proposal selected, I guess it depends on two things: your commitment towards that particular project or the particular organizations, and your clarity in your proposal, how well you've explained the timeline when you're going to complete it. And yeah, this is it. These are the two things I will mention. Over to you, Samana.
Okay, so that's nice of you.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think
Oh
I
yeah, Sumana, sorry for that. Yeah.
Oh, no issues. Yeah, I agree with Aman in the case that, you shouldn't do it just for GSOC because it won't be fun then. Like, it'll be a tough 3 months for you then if you don't like actually contributing to open source and you get into GSOC. So, that is definitely one thing. But talking about how proposal is judged, like, what is the judging criteria? Of course, we can't be sure because the mentors don't tell us. But judging according to like I also saw many proposals which got selected, and like whatever I thought would, like, talking to the mentors, what I felt would be nice. So as I mentioned, don't be like uh, you know totally unrealistic. Don't be totally unrealistic, and make sure you explain every single thing, like how you're going to do. Even if it's a small thing, if you show that you can do how it is, you can, like, if you're supposedly creating some component which is UI based, so maybe you can draw the UI and show it to them in the proposal, so that way they know that you have researched it well and you know how to do it. So you won't be having much problem. Of course, if you face any problems, the mentors are there to help, but at least you should have a basic idea about how you are going to do all the stuffs mentioned in your proposal. So I think that clarity is very important. Yeah.
So are you comfortable showing your proposals? Both of you can you show your proposals. So you got submitted in the GSOC.
Should we share a link with you?
No, you can share your screens. I say.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Just a second. Okay. Is my screen visible?
I guess Rishabh have to give you access to present.
Oh, let me know when my screen is visible.
Not yet visible, Rishabh. I guess Rishabh just froze. He's
All
having
right.
some errors.
If you want, we can share the GitHub link to the proposal.
Yeah, but I haven't like made it public yet, so I'll have to go ahead and search it.
How do we share from here? Okay, I think Rishabh is back now. Rishabh, you're muted.
So, wait for a minute. Wait. I'm doing. Screen. Are you not able to share your screen
I have shared my screen. I think you have to put that on stage.
on the?
I'm still
Okay,
not
you
on
have to. I
stage.
have to pin that. Okay, wait. Wait. I have to pin
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yes, I thought it is visible.
Okay. So yeah, this is how my proposal looks like. This is just like
Yes.
cover
Which
page.
one? I guess like it's not visible even now. Is it?
Yes, is it visible? Yes. Add to stream it. Add to stream.
All right,
Okay,
great.
now it's visible.
Okay, so this is how my proposal looks like. I just made a cover page to make it look beautiful, and this is the title of my proposal. So I'm working on the Hunger Games project, and then I made a table of contents because it was pretty long. So as you can see, it's 35 pages. So I just made it so that you can have easy access. And yeah, then this was basically based on the template that our organization had given us. So we have all our IDs like GitHub ID, Slack ID over here. And then first of all, the mentor who was actually mentoring me throughout the project, I wrote his name, and then a slight overview of what my proposal will have, like not in detail, just to tell like what all things I will be like integrating and what is in mind when I'm writing this proposal. Then after that, I divided, like this is not something you have to do, but I did it this way. So I created 4 milestones for me, which was like four, I had divided all the things that I'll be adding into 4 parts. So, and then I have mentioned them in like pointers so that it's clear. So these were the 4 milestones. After that, I made, which took like the maximum amount of pages, which was how I plan to achieve the milestone. So every single pointer that I've written here, I explain them using images and UIs and different things. So as you can see, I'll just scroll through this. So like every single point is explained, even though there's not maybe like a picture in it, but it has something or the other, like some content. For example, if I'm doing API calls, so I've mentioned which API call I'll call, then what I'll do, then what code I'll write, what output I'll get, everything is mentioned. So this is what it is, and I'll just scroll down. So this was which took the maximum amount of time and research. So once you're done with this, where is it ending? Yeah, we come to another important part, which is plan of action timeline. So I've mentioned like what exactly I'll do in which timeline. So I've divided again into 3 or 4 parts. And like this period is right now the community bonding period. So in that also I'll be making some changes and continue to do so while actually bonding with the community, talking to all the people in community and understanding their workflow. And then we have the two coding sessions that we have, and in that also I've mentioned what all features I'll add when. Apart from that, I'd also mention some things which will be extras, like if I get time, I will also like to add these things. Just like an extra thought I had, but I had mentioned here that this is not part of the like actual proposal. This is only if I get time, then I'll continue doing it, or after the GSOC period, I'll continue doing these features. Then these were some questions that were already given by the organization. So, what all applications I'll be modifying, what all repositories I'll be using, where will I be residing that time? So, I'll be in India only. And what were my expectations from my mentor, like how I want him to support me. So, that is also mentioned. And then why I chose this project. So, I mentioned all the reasons that I already told you, all that, Open Food Facts works for the community, and they're actually solving a huge problem. And apart from that, like, the community has also given me a sense of belonging. And for example, like I mentioned a screenshot here as well, that I got access as a collaborator for the project before actually applying for GSOC, because they really liked my contributions. And after that, I mentioned some previous contributions I made to open source projects, including the contributions I made to Hunger Games at that particular time. And these were all the PRs and like all the links, so that they can see how well I can write code. Then I wrote what my other commitments would be and what I plan to do after GSOC, that is, continue contributing to Open Food Facts and how I would contribute. Lastly, the section was about me, where I gave a small introduction about me and all the experiences I have had, with like links to their websites and everything. Yeah, that's all. Aman, would you like to go next?
Is my screen visible?
No, it's not.
Rishabh, can you give access?
Yeah, it's not good. It's your time. Okay. Wait, yes, waiting to the stream. Your screen is there. Wait.
So I guess I've shared my screen here, but I can't show the stream right now. Rishabh, are you looking into this?
Yes, yes, yes. Now it's there. I thought in the stream.
I still can't see it.
Yeah, even I can't say it. Okay.
Okay, maybe till then we can answer some questions from the chat, maybe.
Yeah, so I can see some chat. Can you share the link to your proposal? I guess Sumana had her on
A
GitHub.
GitHub repo,
So
yeah,
we will. I'll also upload my proposal in GitHub and I'll give a link. And so, like Rahul or Rishabh can pin in the comments.
right. Okay.
Okay, so there's a question, ma'am, for you. Like, I have a question. I applied for GSOC this year after doing contribution before, but still didn't got selected. What do you suggest? I'm still contributing to the project. So, see, uh, though this question is intended for you, so but I would
Right.
like to answer. So, see, even if you don't get selected for that particular organization for GSOC, still, if you love contributing to open source, you like to get your PR merged and you like the project in general and you want to make some changes, it is still a great time to like contribute. And if you are going to be like next year apply for the GSOC, probably the chances are you might be selected, definitely. And I would suggest you should definitely like shouldn't stop contributing to the project. Just imagine like you started contributing to a particular organization just for the sake of GSOC and you didn't got selected for GSOC and you stopped contributing, it kind of creates a bad impact on like how you behave, how this will be seen from the point of the community. So you should probably like contribute to it, not that rigorously, like 1 or 2 PRs a week or even a month. That's totally like more than enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I should
So
go ahead.
Aman, your
Yeah.
proposal is like,
Yeah, okay. So the one that I submitted got deleted. So this is like basically the same thing. There might be a little bit of spelling mistakes. So I had got a new laptop, so that's why this is like basically the same. So like at Sumana got her like PR for more than 32 pages. Mine is just really small, 8 pages. First of the thing I like was having my examinations going on, and second thing I didn't much like hope for GSOC, so I just tried to explain myself best in the least possible time. So this was what I came up for. So this is the main headline, like what I was supposed to do in the GSOC. These are like the handles, like email and the usernames and Slack IDs. And this is the description, a small description of like what exactly is this thing going to do, like implementing the offline mode for the food facts application. So these were the mentors that were supposed to be there, though for me it have changed. So I haven't updated it yet because the proposal time is already over. And this was about the timeline, like the country and the time zone, like where I'll be staying for the most part of my GSOC. And this was about which application or libraries I'll be working on the open food facts organizations, and what help it will be in the organization, like on the community, if I like did these changes. And a like brief introduction about me, why I should be the right person to work on this project. So I like wrote a little one intro about myself, and the most important part was about like how I plan to execute this particular task. So I divided the things into like totally, see, I told you like this is not the final one was offline selected. So basically I divided the thing into 4 parts or 5 parts. First was to understand the flow. Second was to implement the saving mechanism. Like this is project specific, so I wouldn't like take you much detail into these things. I'll link this. I will upload and link this so you could read it later on. So about the management, so how I'll be doing it. So you can just say like what you are supposed to be like attending weekly meetings if your community are having, and what possible things you will be doing. So even in GSOC, like you have to maintain a task, like what how you did. You can see it as a report. So this will be much helpful. So if you like publish a personal blog or write it somewhere, so it would be much easier when you like submit it for evaluations. So this is pretty much basically it. And there were some more questions, like how I'm planning to achieve my milestones. So I like given it detail about every week. So from like all the 12 weeks I've mentioned, and what exactly I'm trying and how exactly I'll be trying to do so, achieve those things. So this was pretty much it. So, and there was further questions like uh, what is my experience as being a like open source contributor or the user in general. So I like gave my particular things, like what I love about open source. At the time, like I was using Linux, that itself is open source. So that, like I mentioned, and I used to love, like still love Linux. So this was it. And the most important part was this, like if you're already working on this project, so you should definitely link some like some of the achievements. So for me, it was like getting some PR merged. So at that time, like there were 7 PR merged, and like more were in like drafts or like in queue to be merged. So these are the pretty much some normal questions, and this was about commitment. So if you are having gonna have some examinations or like your colleges, so you could just mention it there, so the organization could know in advance like what problems or like what times you won't be available. So for me, it is this. This is totally it, 8 pages, and I was able to convince the mentors with these things. So yeah, this is it. Is Rishabh gone?
I guess. So let's just take up a couple of more questions. Um,
Okay.
yeah, okay. So there's one question from Pankaj. I'm a first year student. I'm getting little bit of what you all are discussing. Can you describe what important I can get from this podcast? Okay, so this podcast is about Google Summer of Code, and we're basically telling you how you can contribute to Open Food Facts, which is the organization that we got selected, and in general also, if you know want to know about GSOC, how to get into it, what are the good practices, and like some tips about it. So that are the important things that you'll take away from this podcast. Then there's a question: do your connections matter or play a significant role for your chances in selection as many people apply for the same project? Would you like to take that up, Aman?
Yeah, I guess the answers may vary. So for me, it didn't matter. See, honestly, I was wandering around internet, got into like their GitHub repository, tried to like get my peer merge, and like this is how I created my connections with the mentors, like through discussions on my PRs and like creating some issues, and this is pretty much basically it. So you don't need to like personally message mentors or like make a connection on LinkedIn and then try to like so that you are capable. So if you are like contributing to the project, they pretty much know it. You don't need to do anything special. What's your views on this, Sumana?
Yeah,
Like you
I
could answer
agree.
this too.
Of course, like there have been, like I've seen some controversies that maybe, connections do matter, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. Depends on the mentor, because at the end of the day, the proposals are checked by all the mentors of the organization, and they decide whether you should get in or not. So, of course, it's better to have like not being close with them, but at least having like creating a sense of trust with them, that they know that you can code and you can fulfill whatever you've said. So I think just try and make sure that contribute and make sure that you gain their trust, because that will increase your chances definitely. And for people who are saying, can you share the link in the I have shared the link in the chat, and I think Aman will also share it soon. Yeah.
Yeah, like
um,
I'll just after the stream ends, or like if you could take some more questions, I will do it. Like meanwhile, in the
sure, sure.
background.
Sure. So okay, I think Bhavna's question was already answered, that I have contributed to GSOC this year but didn't get selected. What would you suggest? Am I still contributing the project or choose another one and start working on that? So I'll just reiterate on that, that if you are actually like working on an organization for like more than 1 year now, if you'll work till next year, then of course there'll be way too much chances for you to get selected, because they know that you've been contributing for the last 1 year, and of course they'll want to choose you for that, right? But of course, as it is open source, you can try out more organizations as well. You can go ahead and see if you like them better, if you like their work better, and most importantly, if you would like to contribute to what they are aiming to do. If you like that, of course you can switch. There's no one who's stopping you from doing that. Okay. Um, there's one more. If there's a lot of competition in the organization I'm contributing, how do I increase my chances of getting selected? Okay. If there's a lot of contribution, first of all, contribute a lot. And secondly, make sure your proposal is really elaborate and like not elaborate, but it has to cover all the points. Like Aman's proposal was not that long, but it covered every single thing that was important. And like reading that, the mentor knew that okay, this person can do what he has proposed. So just make sure your proposal is really good. Talk to the mentors, ask if they can like help you out, like give you some tips on what they are looking for, and just go through the project ideas they have given, and I think that'll help you out. Aman, if you want to add something to that.
So, like, I guess two things matter. Like, if you are already contributing to the project, so mentors get to know about your like thinking, your problem solving approach, how you deal with a particular like you got to try to like solve an issue, or like the mentors assign you yourself try to solve the issue. So in that process, they will be actually seeing your code, what exactly tried to fix a particular problem. So in case see, like if you try to like do something that can be done a little bit better. So these are the like few points that like creates an impact. And maybe there are some issues like that nobody just tries to do it. Like maybe that's a technical and maybe that seems like unfixable. And if you try to solve those things like that creates an impact in the mentors that okay, he's trying to like go out of his comfort zone and try to do more things. So that definitely creates an impact. And second thing is like if you're just trying to genuinely contribute, not in this regards of just GSOC, you're just trying to communicate. For me, like what I was doing, I was trying to like stay in the community for maybe I was preparing for the next year. So to be honest, so like I was trying to get my PR merged and like in the Slack channels, if someone comes, like for me, my tech stack was Flutter. So if someone comes and like I know a bit of Flutter where I could contribute, so I would like give them the channels to join, the links to the issues, and even at the sometimes I felt like okay, this particular issue like was solved by this person, it's arising again. I should like mention him on the issue that you should solve it. So I was just trying to stay in the community, nothing different. So if you just give a sensation to the mentors that you are trying to get it out of your comfort zone and contributing genuinely, that's like most important thing. And also for the proposal, it shouldn't be like way too long. I'm not commenting on a proposal that was totally like really awesome, and I'm feeling bad about mine actually. So and it shouldn't be so short. So you should just explain in a bit like for what particular week what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. So the timing and what exactly you have in plans for solving a particular issue. That's all it matters. And yeah, these are the two things.
Yeah.
You can take another question. I guess Rishabh is also
So
back.
yeah, I'm back. Sorry for the delay, guys. My internet is gone. Sorry for that. So
Sure.
so there is one personal question from my side. So this, which is basically my personal question about the open source. So my question is, what should be the right mindset of a student who wants to contribute to open source?
I think Rishabh, your voice is breaking again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like wait for him to come. His question.
So I'm asking, what should be the mindset of right mindset of a student who wants to kickstart with open source?
Okay. So first of all, open source is not a compulsion. Like you have to do it to be successful. It's not that. Do it if you enjoy coding, if you like development, if you like it's not important to do web development, app development. It's not like necessary to do, right? So if you enjoy doing that, you can try out open source. And for open source, I would just say like start with there are always labels mentioned at good first issues. So there are website also which show you that. So there's a website called goodfirstissue.dev. So if you go to that, you can just select whatever your tech stack is, and you'll get all the issues that are related to that, which will be beginner friendly. So that way you can start your journey. You can start contributing to minor issues. It can even be like documentation fixing or any small thing it can be. And sooner or later you can see if you actually like it, and if you're enjoying contributing to it, talking to the community, then go ahead and contribute more and go for GSOC. Yeah. Over to you, Aman.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't want to add something to it. This was a perfect answer. Nothing to add.
So
Thanks.
before ending I have a last question, only last question. Is it important to contribute to open source to benefit from getting internships? We can get any easier to get internship by contributing. Is there a way?
I didn't understand the question. Did you like heard it properly?
No, I didn't. Maybe you can write it down and then we'll uh,
Yeah.
take up the question.
Asking, is it important to contribute? Is it helping in getting the internships or the jobs
Okay.
by
Is your
contributing
question that
into?
like is getting into GSOC and contributing to open source, does it help you to get internships and jobs? Is that the question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, assuming that is the question. Um,
Yes, yeah, is it? Yes, is it? This is the
Okay.
question.
All right. So, yes, of course, like if when you're contributing to open source and you're contributing to GSOC, you do get like real world production level code where you're contributing to. So you do get that experience of contributing to production level code, and which is what you'll do when you go for internships and jobs. You'll be contributing to production level code, which is live somewhere, right? So if you already have that experience, if you already know how to do that, it is a great plus for you. And like when you're contributing to open source, there are like thousands of contributing contributors contributing in one project or one organization. So you know how to work with all of them together and make sure that you don't break the production level code or make any mistakes. Then that way, like, it is a big plus for any company to have you, right? So I think it's a great advantage and it gives you a huge plus. I'm not saying that it is guaranteed that you'll get a job or an internship after doing this. There's no guarantee, of course, but of course, it increases your chances to get there. Aman, anything you'd like to add?
No, just like you answer the basic question. You wrote a code that is being used by like many people. That itself is something like worth sharing on your resume, and it definitely creates an impact. So imagine like I want to do a startup and I want to like hire some programmers who are good at maybe web development, React or like Angular. So I was like I saw some open source projects like that. I'm maybe using VLC. Okay, so VLC is open source. I tried to like go on VLC's like site and see like how many contributors are there. So I tried to like see, and like I genuinely saw that people are doing a great work, like they're contributing to it at and since VLC is like a good product and used by many people, so they will be like, okay, this guy knows about Android, or this guy know about codecs, how these in general works. So they will just try to like approach you directly through even like your contacts provided on GitHub. So like you want to like work with us, we have some openings, and it has happened quite a lot of times. For me, like once or twice I got some internship opportunities on LinkedIn just because of my GitHub repositories, though it's not that great, still I got some. So if you're contributing to some great projects, definitely you're it will be helpful in like getting to startups or even into big companies for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And I see Rishabh is not there again.
Yeah, and one more thing, I like sent the link in the chat. So, but I
So
guess
yes.
like it will be better to pin it in comments. I'll send it
So
to you,
it's
Rishabh.
already is yes, it's already in the our description box. Okay.
So
Okay.
about my proposal, that was a very specific about.
Okay, I will. Yes,
Suppose,
I
yeah,
shared your GitHub accounts in the description, so the viewers can visit your GitHubs to see the proposals.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Okay, so I believe that
Any
the
more
pretty much
questions
about
we
the
have? Yeah, we don't have any
and
more questions. Yeah,
questions. Yeah, you already covered all the questions without me.
no, like we thought of just
So
continuing the streak. Okay,
Right.
sure, you go ahead. I'll keep mum.
in sorry for the delay, guys. Sorry for delaying. So I believe that the pretty much about the podcast.
No
Thanks
issues,
a
no
lot
issues.
for Sumana and Aman joining the podcast. I really appreciate it. Always a pleasure. And hopefully we will see you again on our channel soon. And you all can reach out to both of the socials and give your introduction. So you can reach out to on their socials. Yeah, I mentioned that. So I'd like to tell about you about this 12-day open source cafe workshop where we are going to call 50 to 20 GSOC students from different organization and different domain where they will guide us how to get started with the open source, and they can share their experience, their best practices to get in the organizations. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Shout
Bye
out,
bye.
shout out to both Sumana and Diaman.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and like from my side, shout out to Rishabh. So
Yeah.
Pradeep and Rahul, like they really communicated a great, and like even for thinking something like this is really
Yeah.
worth
It's a
appreciating.
great initiative. Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting us. It was a
Yeah, thank you
pleasure.
for joining us. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
All right.
so good night
okay.
and
Bye.
bye bye.
Yes, yes. See you. Bye.